Let's go in. Joe is going to tell us a little bit about who he is. So, Joe, who are you?
It's a good question. I ask myself that every day. But first of all, hi, Kathy. So first of all, who's not here for the first time? All right. So yeah, it's like a trick question, right? So who's not here for the first time? So yeah, that's who I am. See, I figured it out. The reason I asked that is because that's why I joined Lifestyles. And so I'll tell you more about that here in a minute. But before I do, where am I and who am I and where did I come from? So my story goes way, way back into the late 80s, early 90s. Anybody here old enough to remember the RTC, Resolution Trust Corporation, who bailed out everybody? So the bank problems we're having today, it's not the first time for you young people. Go back into the late 80s, a lot of people lost a lot of real estate. And one of my friends and I got really excited. We used to go to the Carlton Sheets and all that other fun stuff. And he took off, and I got really excited about analyzing deals. And then I read some more books, and I was so excited I invested in my first deal in 2012. You do the math. All right. So
that was a long analysis. You were really analyzing it.
I knew a lot. You know how many people I helped make money in that time frame? But the thing about it was, though, is I had it on my mind all the time. I enjoyed reading and I enjoyed learning, but there wasn't a system that I could connect to, right? So that's why I said earlier, for those of you that have been here before, I didn't realize I was going to get that out of this program. And so fast forward a little bit, so 2012, bought my first deal. Like some of my mentors have shared, you can buy a deal and not screw it up, and I did. It kind of worked itself out. I was leasing, it was a fourplex, and I was leasing rooms and whatnot, and I was making a really good deal. And then 4 years later, almost to the day, somebody said, hey, have you ever thought about selling it? I went to my realtor and I said, I want to sell it. And I said, I want to sell it for this much. And he says, you'll never get that much. And I said, well, let's see what happens, because I really don't want to sell it, but if somebody gives me that, I'll sell it. And I sold it for a huge chunk of money in about 2 hours, because his partner said, he's selling, I'll buy it. And we settled on the price that I had just kind of fictitiously brought up out of thin air, and it made sense, and I had this big chunk of money. That was in October of 2015. One night, I'm walking my dog, and I said, you know what, I heard this podcast. Well, it was a radio show, right? Anybody hear the radio show on the weekends? I'm walking down the street, and I said, there's got to be a better way, right? So I work for a great company. I work for USAA, and I think I put it now on this. Yeah, been there 23 years. Get to support the military and the family. Oh, by the way, who's military? Military families, thank you for your service. Appreciate that. That's awesome. So I've been working there, but just like any corporate America, they go through layoffs, and I'd experienced a couple, and I said, you know what? If I lost my job right now, what would I have to say for anything that I've done all these years? And I didn't. And so I said, there's this radio show that I always catch like 10 minutes of on the weekends, and I can never figure it. They got to have something online. So I'm going through my phone, walking my dog on a street corner one night, and I find the podcast. And I listened to the podcast, and it's like, this is really good. And I listened to another and another and another. And my favorite of all the podcasts are Tell Dell Tuesdays. It's where he brings on live people. And I remember the first person that I heard was Bob DeLong. And I was like, then I came to, just like you are here, case study, and I saw him in the back with his name tag on. And I was like, they're real. They really do exist. It wasn't Robert Kiyosaki or any of these guys that come through the hotel and stuff like that. It was a meeting place, right? Once again, somewhere I could come and gravitate to on a regular basis and meet like kind of people. So anyway, I did that, and then I remember I was ready. January, heard a radio show. There's this wonderful expo, and I couldn't go because I had other previous engagements, but I wanted to know more, and I called, and Jody answered the phone, and she's like, we had this expo, and I'm like, I would love to go, and she's like, I'll give you a free ticket, and I said, where is it? In Houston? I can't. But anyway, that March 2016, I joined. I sat in the front row with my across the aisle partner, Sylvia. We sat here for 16 hours, right? Chris is going to be teaching that. She came in from Laredo. She has a wonderful story, but it was everything that I'd hoped for. I sat here with my arms crossed for 2 days, waiting for someone to say I could sign up. That's all. I knew I was going to join. I was ready. And
so did you know you were going to join before you came to the class?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Because I listened to all these podcasts, and it's like, it's real. I came to the case study in January. I had to wait till March for the actual 2-day, and so I was ready to go. and I join. And then the whole thing about, I don't know where people say look on your couch for money, because I've looked every time and I never found any. But I can tell you how much you can get for right kidney. But no, I started, if you're going to come to the 2-day and you're going to join, take action. That's all I would say. For me, it was a lot of money. And I had waited all these years. I was ready. I had a little bit of energy and more excitement than I did for the first 25 years. And I took action. And so within about 3 months, I had 3 deals as a passive investor. And it was really good because it was like, here, take all my money. When will I get something back? But no, I've been very blessed because the education that Lifestyles provides in the 2-day was enough to get me started. And today you're even luckier because Dell had this long vision of having this online education program that's top notch. And you can sit at your home like many people are doing here today, and you can go through all those modules and you can learn so much, and you can go back and do it again and again. You can come to the 2-day again and again and again. And so all that to say, take action, because you have the right information, you have the right group, you have the right mentors, you have the right support group, and they're all here to help you. I'm an ambassador, so I love helping people there as well. So I know we got to talk into the deals, but you have a question?
No, I didn't. I was going to get to the next one. So why did you join? I think you just went over that. So.
Yeah. So in the back of my mind, I didn't want to lose my job, like sadly so many people do. Right? They come to work, they do their hardest. Life happens. Corporations have to make decisions. I wanted to spend time with my family, but I wanted to spend it with money in my pocket and not having to go out and be unemployed or anything like that. So I love to travel. I love to exercise. I love to do a lot of things. As a result, I was able to join the Texas Guard. I got a direct commission in 2019. I'm currently the commander of the engineer company in our 2nd Brigade, 6th Battalion. So I never thought that would happen, but that's where we break things and fix things, but not in the order. So it's kind of fun. But no, everything's kind of come together faster than I ever imagined. I had goals. I have spreadsheets. You wouldn't know that because I didn't bring one tonight. But I had my charted 401k out on a spreadsheet, and I would open it up every month just to see how it was going. And it was going good, but not going fast enough. All my goals were set for 62 when I was planning to retire. I joined when I was 50, or actually a little bit before I was 50, and I had replaced my income in 3.5 years. And that changed everything for me. And on top of that, I got to meet so many wonderful people along the way that I call friends. It's pretty cool that I got some text messages on the way over here tonight saying I wish I could be there. I just saw you on the email blast, and I know you're gonna knock it out of the house. So I hope I'm knocking it out of the house, because if not, I'm gonna let them down. But no, that's the kind of group that this is. It's so much more than what I ever thought and imagined it would be.
Awesome, man. So then, talk a little bit about your deals. I know that we don't have a spreadsheet or anything like that, but how many deals have you been in?
A lot.
A lot, yep. That's approximately plus or minus some, or
yes,
is that, okay,
exactly.
Gotcha.
No, I can, so it's close, I think it's 28. Here's what's crazy. All of a sudden, everybody started selling all these deals that I got into, and we started making all this money, and it's like, crap, now I got to put that money back to work, so I have to come over here and meet more leads and find out who's got deals and start all over again.
So you made so much money, you made your money making you money, and now you got another job.
Yeah, and I'm not like the Fed, I'm not printing the money either.
It's real stuff.
It's actually real stuff, yeah. So, but I mean, I can share my I think it was my 5th deal. Crazy stuff, right? You buy these things because of weird, I mean, they made sense. The deals make sense, trust me. All the education, I put that to work. But I got into this deal where it was like the block next door to where my parents lived when I was born, on Gentleman Road. And I was like, it's got to be a great deal. And it was. We made like 200%. We cash out refied in 13 months, about 9 months ahead of time. And you're going to learn all this stuff that I'm saying. You're going to learn over the 2-day weekend. So if you don't understand it now, just come to 2-day and it'll all make sense. Basically, what I just said is I put, say for an example, 150 into the deal, and in 13 months later, he gave me 90 back, and we were still cash flowing like 10 to 12% each month on my original investment.
So have you been to all of the properties you invested in?
Why?
Huh? Hawaii? Hawaii? You went to Hawaii?
No, not Hawaii. Why?
I'm just curious.
Oh,
have
I
you?
need to.
Yeah.
No, I mean, I didn't.
They don't know.
No, I didn't. No, you don't have to. I've invested in, I've invested in Atlanta. I've got Dallas. I've got all over Texas. I've got Arizona. I mean, if I want to, I can make a nice trip and write it off, but I haven't visited all my properties yet.
What is the what is the least amount of money you've been able to put in a property?
So once again, this problem, you start investing into deals, and then all of a sudden, you don't have enough money, and you're just like, I want to invest with him. And so I had managed to scrap up, I think, $12,000, and he let me in the deal.
And then how'd that deal go?
In a couple of years, we made, I think with my cash flow and what we settled for on the closing, it was about 150%.
Awesome.
So,
yeah, very good.
And so my point with that is everybody in here hopefully can find at least $12,000. There's leads that will work with you. I've put a lot more. I've put a lot less. At 12,000 is the lower end, but usually I'm between 75 is probably a good number for me. And you're probably saying, well, where do you get all this money? I had some money because I sold the fourplex, right? And so I was ready to put that together to work. Back then when rates were really good, and sometimes today it can still work, because if you have your house paid off for, guess what? Refinance it. It doesn't matter if the rates right now are 6%. Refinance it and put that cash to work. Take the cash out. I did that out of my primary home because I was following Dave Ramsey before that. And it's like, pay off my home for yay. But then all of a sudden I took all that cash out, and it was the cash flow was paying for my mortgage and then some. So that's how rich people make their money. They just don't tell everybody. Here they tell everybody, which is awesome. Yeah.
Another cool thing about, you mentioned this, you got people that are texting you. Did you know those people before you joined? Or no idea, right?
No.
So you get a whole other group of friends and family and whatnot that's associated with this. And the cool thing is that everybody has something in common, right? I'm from the oil and gas business. I know Tom, a couple different guys here that may be in that, but there's not a lot of guys in the oil and gas business in this room. Anybody in the oil and gas business? Okay, so we got 2 or 3 hands, yep. And so, but later, if we talk, we're all going to have something in common. You know, we want to talk about real estate. We want to talk about investing. We want to talk about it. So you get to meet a big group of diverse folks, and it's just, there's a lot more to it than just the investing, but the investing's pretty good. So join for that and get the bonus afterwards.
And just talking about that, right? So right now, you turn on the news. If you watch the news, you're hearing about bank bailouts again, even though they don't call them bank bailouts. But there's a lot of uncertainty in the market. And I mean, I've got several deals right now where we're in the process of refinancing and taking cash out, and we're going to still own the property, which is a really good deal. And we're selling some because the prices have gone up so much that we're going to get cash out, and I'm going to have to go and do some more work.
Now you got to go back to
go
work
find
again.
somewhere else to put it, huh?
Yeah, go back on the last slide, because that's the ABCs, right? Always be connecting. As a passive, if you're going to be a passive, you always got to be connecting with somebody. Take action, meet people, because when somebody has a deal, then you're going to have that opportunity to invest with them at some point or another, and then just make sure you're building and networking. And
I think for the new guys too, there's a lot of information on here that's the networking. So that's, if you're, depending on how you want to invest and whatnot, there's a lot of different ways to meet people. Lifestyles has a great set of opportunities where you can network online. You can go and you can travel to different states. I mean, you can do a lot of different networking, meet a lot of different people, and that's kind of what you're talking about there. That your job as a passive investor is really getting to know people, getting to have opportunities, making your money, making money.
Right, absolutely. And the other thing I want to throw on to the top of that plug, right? If I haven't said, you have a wonderful network of information and support here at Lifestyles. During COVID, I mean, to my knowledge, I don't know of any lead that lost a property. And there was a lot of people that lost their properties during COVID because people stopped paying, right? And so there was a lot of networks, there was a lot of leads connected, there was a lot of people working within LU helping to support us, and it was just amazing. And then now the big thing is and if you haven't looked at your personal insurance, I don't mean to scare you, but it's probably gone up. And it's probably going to keep on going up at least for the next year or so. And there's valid reasons. I'll talk to you offline about that if you want to. But that's the new COVID, if you will. And my point is Lifestyles has gotten in front of that, and they're working with their leads. They're working with the single family owners, and they're making sure that they have that education passed down so that we can be in the best place possible. All right. Once again, like when I asked you earlier, right? If you're here for the first time, the reason that I joined was more than just an opportunity to buy a piece of property and learn how to manage it. It was the family, it was the network, it was the program available.
All right. Quote.
Which one?
Whichever one you want. Do them both.
If I can, you can too. See the play there? Kind of worked out that way.
So I can too?
Yeah, you can if you want to.
Why should they believe you? Because you've got socks and sandals on.
Wow, really?
Well, yeah, really, you do.
It's a valid question. You do have socks and sandals on. So everybody can't see, he's got socks and sandals.
Did you watch Shawshank Redemption? What? It's like,
Hey, Joe, thanks for coming up
man
today.
never
Hey, all
really
right.
looks at a man's shoes. Anyway, apparently not. Why? Because my feet stay more moist.
No, we're talking about why should they believe
Why
you?
should they believe you?
More moist.
You went there, right?
Stay sweatier, man.
If I can, you can too. But you know what? The other thing, and this was around COVID. I know we all experienced different things that we probably never thought we would experience in our lifetimes, and something very quickly that I gravitated to was the quote that's on the right-hand side. It's the smallest things that are the sweetest things, and I think a lot of times, at least for me speaking, I was going through life so fast because I was focused on getting to 62. I was focused on building my wealth so I could have a retirement. And I was missing so many pieces of the everyday beautiful things that happen along the way. So if you haven't stopped to think of it from that perspective, stop on the way home and think about what's the smallest thing that happened to you today that was the biggest thing. Anyway, that's all I got. Out.
Thank you, Joe. Appreciate it.
Hey, sir.